addressing concerns regarding electrical inspections. Firstly, regarding the switch accessibility violation. The situation involves a switch placed behind a door leading from a master bedroom to a back porch. The inspector cited this as a readily accessible violation. It is important to explain to the inspector that the switch's placement is intentional. The purpose of placing the switch behind the door, when open, is to prevent accidental activation. Accidental activation might occur when the door is left open. This is done for safety reasons. To further support your reasoning, provide evidence. This evidence can be in the form of a statement from a qualified electrician. The statement should explain why this placement is a valid safety measure. Secondly, regarding the non-listed outlet box, or no LOX requirement. No LOX is an antioxidant paste used with aluminum wiring. The inspector claimed that using no LOX on aluminum wires is a code requirement. It is important to understand that no LOX is not strictly a code requirement. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, recommends it as a safety measure. It helps prevent loose connections. Ask the inspector to provide a specific reference to the code section. This code section should state that no LOX is required for aluminum wires. If the inspector cannot provide a valid code reference, escalate your concerns. Express these concerns to the head building official or supervisor. Dealing with difficult inspectors requires a strategic approach. Firstly, be respectful and professional at all times. Even if you disagree with the inspector's findings, maintain a polite demeanor. Avoid using confrontational language. This approach can help to escalate the situation. Secondly, provide evidence and documentation to support your claims. This documentation can include statements from experts. Experts can be qualified electricians or engineers. You can also provide code references that contradict the inspector's claims. High-quality photographs can also serve as evidence. These photographs can show the installation details. Thirdly, consider requesting a second inspection. If you believe the inspector is being unreasonable, request another inspection. This second inspection should be conducted by a different inspector. This can provide a fresh perspective on the situation. Fourthly, contact the head building official or supervisor. If you cannot resolve the issue directly with the inspector, escalate the matter. Escalate the matter to the supervisor or the head building official. They can help mediate the situation and ensure a fair assessment. Lastly, as a final resort, you can file a formal complaint. File this complaint with the city or state licensing board. This board oversees the inspector's conduct. Remember, the primary goal is to find a fair and reasonable solution. This solution should ensure the safety and code compliance of your property. By approaching the situation with professionalism and providing solid evidence, you can increase your chances of resolving the issues effectively. Now let's consider the NEC requirements related to the installation of electrical components. It's crucial to understand these requirements to ensure compliance and safety. Firstly, consider Article 110.3, which covers the examination, identification, installation, and use of equipment. This article mandates that all electrical equipment be installed and used according to the instructions included in the listing or labeling. This means you should always follow the manufacturer's guidelines for installing devices like switches, outlets, and lighting fixtures. Failure to adhere to these instructions can lead to safety hazards and code violations. Secondly, let's look at Article 210.52, which deals with receptacle outlet requirements in dwelling units. This section specifies the placement and spacing of receptacles to ensure convenience and safety. For example, receptacles must be installed so that no point along the wall line is more than 6 feet, or approximately 1.8 meters, from a receptacle. This rule aims to minimize the use of extension cords, which can be a safety hazard. Additionally, countertop receptacles in kitchens and bathrooms have specific requirements to ensure they are readily accessible and protected from water damage. Thirdly, Article 310.15 provides guidelines for the ampacity of conductors. Ampacity refers to the current carrying capacity of a wire. It is essential to select the correct wire size based on the load it will carry to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. The NEC provides tables, such as Table 310.16, that list the allowable ampacities for different types of conductors based on their insulation and ambient temperature. Always consult these tables to ensure you are using the appropriate wire size for your application. Fourthly, Article 404.2 addresses the installation of switches. It requires that switches be installed so that they effectively control lighting and other loads. This article also specifies the height at which switches should be installed, typically between 406.4 mm or 16 inches and 1219.2 mm or 48 inches above the floor. Additionally, switches must be readily accessible, meaning they should not be obstructed by furniture, doors, or other objects. In the case of the switch behind the door, accessibility is a key concern. Fifthly, Article 406.4 covers the installation of receptacles and attachment plugs. It requires that receptacles be securely mounted and properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. Grounding is a critical safety measure that provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and energizing the circuit. Always ensure that receptacles are properly grounded and that the grounding conductor is securely connected. Next, let's discuss the use of antioxidant compounds like NOx with aluminum conductors. While the NEC doesn't mandate the use of NOx in all cases, it is highly recommended for aluminum connections to prevent corrosion. Aluminum is more prone to oxidation than copper, and this oxidation can create a high resistance connection that generates heat and poses a fire hazard. Antioxidant compounds like NOx help to prevent oxidation by creating an airtight seal between the conductor and the terminal. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when applying these compounds to ensure they are used correctly. Now let's delve deeper into how to handle disagreement with electrical inspectors. It's important to remember that inspectors are there to ensure safety and code compliance, but they are also human and can make mistakes or have different interpretations of the code. Here's a step-by-step approach to resolving disagreements professionally. Firstly, remain calm and respectful. Even if you strongly disagree with the inspector's findings, it's essential to maintain a calm and respectful demeanor. Avoid raising your voice or using confrontational language, as this will only escalate the situation. Instead, speak in a clear and professional manner and listen carefully to the inspector's explanation of the code violation. Secondly, ask for clarification. If you don't understand the inspector's reasoning, ask for a more detailed explanation. Request that they provide specific code references that support their findings. This will help you to understand the basis for the violation and assess whether it is valid. Thirdly, provide documentation to support your position. If you believe the inspector is mistaken, gather any relevant documentation that supports your position. This may include manufacturer's specifications, engineering drawings, or written interpretations of the code from qualified experts. Present this documentation in a clear and organized manner, and explain how it supports your claim that the installation is code compliant. Fourthly, request a second opinion. If you are unable to resolve the disagreement with the inspector, consider requesting a second opinion from another inspector or a qualified electrical engineer. A fresh perspective can often help to clarify the situation and identify any misunderstandings or misinterpretations of the code. Fifthly, appeal the decision if necessary. If you have exhausted all other options and you still believe the inspector's decision is incorrect, you may have the option to appeal the decision to a higher authority. The appeals process varies depending on the jurisdiction, but it typically involves submitting a written appeal to the building department or a designated appeals board. Be sure to follow the proper procedures and deadlines for filing an appeal, and present your case in a clear and persuasive manner. In addition to these steps, it's also helpful to familiarize yourself with the local electrical codes and regulations. This will enable you to better understand the requirements and ensure that your installations are code compliant. You can typically find copies of the local codes at the building department or online. Also, consider attending training courses or seminars on electrical codes and safety. These courses can provide valuable insights into the latest requirements and best practices. Furthermore, maintaining good communication with the electrical inspector throughout the project can help to prevent disagreements and ensure a smooth inspection process. Keep the inspector informed of your progress and be open to their suggestions and feedback. By working together, you can ensure that the electrical installation is safe, code compliant, and meets the needs of the building occupants. Now let's consider some common electrical code violations and how to avoid them. Firstly, improper wiring methods are a frequent cause of code violations. This includes using the wrong type of wire for the application, improperly splicing wires, and failing to protect wires from physical damage. Always use the correct type of wire for the intended purpose, and ensure that all splices are made inside approved junction boxes. Protect wires from physical damage by running them through conduit or using cable assemblies with built-in protection. Secondly, overloading circuits is another common violation. This occurs when too many devices are connected to a single circuit, causing it to draw more current than it is designed to handle. Overloaded circuits can overheat and cause a fire. To avoid overloading circuits, calculate the total load on each circuit and ensure that it does not exceed the circuit's capacity. If necessary, add additional circuits to distribute the load more evenly. Thirdly, improper grounding is a serious safety hazard that can lead to electrical shock. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and energizing the circuits. Ensure that all electrical equipment is properly grounded, and that the grounding conductor is securely connected to the grounding electrode system. Fourthly, failing to install ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in required locations is another common violation. GFCIs are designed to protect people from electrical shock by detecting small imbalances in current and quickly shutting off the power. GFCIs are required in bathrooms, kitchens, garages, and other locations where there is a risk of water exposure. Lastly, not providing adequate working space around electrical equipment can also result in code violations. The NEC requires that there be sufficient clear space around electrical panels and other equipment to allow for safe access and maintenance. Ensure that there is at least 3 feet, or approximately 0.9 meters, of clear space in front of electrical equipment, and that the space is free for obstructions. By avoiding these common code violations, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe, code compliant, and meet the needs of the building occupants. Remember to always consult the local electrical codes and regulations, and to seek the advice of a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. In conclusion, navigating electrical inspections requires a combination of knowledge, professionalism, and effective communication. By understanding the relevant codes, providing clear documentation, and maintaining a respectful attitude, you can increase your chances of resolving disagreements and ensuring a successful inspection. Always prioritize safety and code compliance, and don't hesitate to seek the advice of qualified experts when needed.